Yes. That. Yo. Whoa. Hey. Yeah. That. Yes. Yes.
Welcome, everybody, to the Day After Podcast, an extension of the YouTube channel The Jestour, where we're going to talk about My Hero Academia, Seasons 1, 2, 3, and the movie. If you're here, a couple of house cleaning things before we begin. If you're here, it is assumed that you've been spoiled about the entire seasons up to 1 to 3, and this may run a little long. I encourage you to look at our table of contents in the description if you don't want to skip over some of the shit that we're talking about.
Right, yeah. So we're gonna we kind of have a plan. So if you're not interested in a particular point of the podcast, please skip around. We totally accept the fact that we're not interesting all the time.
Yeah.
We also so I want you guys to accept that we have watched the dubbed version of My Hero Aka only. We have not watched Boku Hero no Academia. We have not watched the Japanese version. We've only watched the English dubbed version.
The dubbed seasons and the dubbed movie. We were always on the fence about watching this series, and then we went to the convention in Kansas City, and I have never seen more merch for anything in my life, except for maybe that time in 2014 where we went to a convention and there was all the 5-night stuff. Right,
I've never seen more people more passionate about a show that I was so kind of whatever about. I wasn't into My Hero Academia. I was like, oh my god, what in the fuck can you do with superheroes go to high school motif? And well, we'll talk about it when we get there. But I will say the fan base is what inspired me to watch this. So I will claim total fault here. I was the one who dragged my feet. I was the one who said, John, I really don't want to watch that.
I'm at the point now where I'll try anything. But it's really good. A couple things about the creator. I know a big fact and a small fact.
Okay.
The big fact is that this man, he drew a lot of his inspiration, a very large part of his inspiration about this, from the mythos of specifically the Western superhero.
Okay, so people like Marvel and DC.
Well, just the Western superhero. So yeah, Superman and that kind of ideal.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So like an Eastern super. Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah. You see that in kind of the some of the characters.
The other thing is, he's very good at drawing hands.
Yes.
Animators around the world are like, how do you fucking do in those hands, bro?
That's why so many cartoons have gloves, because they're like, why bother?
Yeah. So one thing that this did really well is the line work in true not comic book but superhero fashion. We get very thick, heavy shadow line work where appropriate.
So that's part of the reason I was kind of dragging my feet. I am not into comic books. I'm not into comic book stories. I'm really not into comic book movies and comic book adaptations. Again, everything about the series was kind of engineered for me to hate it. And, I ended up watching all 3 seasons. So you'll find out my opinion as we go through here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good things going for it as far as technical aspects. This series, and I said it during the movie, this series absolutely knows where to put its budget. It knows where to put its animation. It knows where to put its key creators, and it knows where to put its keyframes.
Mm-hmm.
That I think is really, really rare in animation today. Not in anime specifically, but in animation in general.
I think nowadays it's less important about the budget of a show as about the economics of it. Because
right.
Haikyuu, which by the way is a volleyball anime, not the biggest budget, but it knows that the volleyball scenes are the most important, so they're very, very skimpy. I don't like Mother's Basement. He does have one very good video about the animation of Haikyuu and how they know where to spend its money, how they know where to spend its budget.
Right. Yeah, and yeah, My Hero Academia hits a lot of the same points that Mother's Basement mentions with Haikyuu. It really, really knows the important parts, the action scenes, the fight scenes, and really the character scenes. This series does a great job with making you care about certain characters, not all of its characters, because good God, its cast is fucking huge.
It's an enormous, gigantic cast.
But the characters that matter, the characters that it wants you to focus on, it makes you care about those. Now, it does that without doing a discredit to the side characters. that is extremely rare in a show that focuses on action.
So, I don't want to talk about there are negatives to this show. It's got a bit of an
Oh
Attack
my
on
God.
Titan problem, but we will
Ugh.
tackle them when they become appropriate
Ugh.
because I think they deserve to be. It's the things that I enjoyed heavily that I think deserve the fairest shake, and the fairest shake is talking about those. We have a ton of characters to go down in descending order of importance. Again, if you're not interested in us, please go look at that table of contents below.
Right, yeah. If you're familiar with the characters, if you know what they're about, skip past this part. We'll go on to the seasons and all that other stuff later.
Okay,
So,
Spark Notes for anybody who's never had this show seen to them. A show seen to them.
it is not Sky High the anime, which is what I was worried about.
Yeah, that's Deku is a young boy who wants very much to be a superhero, and unfortunately, this isn't an age. It's in an X-Men age where some people are born with superpowers, but the ratio here is much higher. So 80% of the people born today have some kind of superhero, and he finds out at a young age he doesn't have one, and that's devastating to him because his favorite superhero is this character All Might. We'll talk about in a bit, but he's just devastated, and he's a very, very interesting, dedicated character like Naruto.
Yeah,
but
not like Naruto.
Yes and no, like Naruto, because Naruto and Deku both have a similar problem. Number one, Naruto's a shit for a long time. He's a shit for the first 3 volumes, which covers the first 15 episodes of the anime.
God, you remind me how long Naruto is.
It's very, very long. Deku has a problem too. I didn't quite see the problem until the problem disappeared completely for the rest of the series. In the first season, Deku cries like a little bitch.
Okay, yeah, and we'll talk about season 1 in general and later, but to me, when I was watching the series, specifically when I was watching season 1 only, Deku was all the worst parts of Naruto and all the worst parts of the main kid from Attack on Titan.
Eren?
Eren. He's all the worst parts of Naruto and all the worst parts of Eren. He has that drive, he has that push of wanting to be a better person and having a true goal in life. But none of the cute, kind of charismatic comic relief that Naruto does. He's a whiny bitch.
He's very, very whiny. You do get to very much care for him, and I like that it doesn't as the universe grows and expands, it doesn't succumb to, no offense, but Harry Potter syndrome.
Yeah.
Where he's the star child, and I get it, his power was given to him by special circumstances. But he does like have problems where he has to like think it over and get better at it. You have something to say?
Yes. What I like about Deku over somebody like Naruto, and I won't go into Harry Potter, that's a whole deep other thing. What I like about Deku is you get to the point where you're no longer just tolerating him as the main character. You learn to really appreciate his viewpoint.
And his drive.
And his dream. You know, that none of that is in season 1, which is part of my problem with this series. But you do learn to appreciate Deku as who he is, whereas Naruto, most of the series I was watching Naruto, which we never finished Naruto. We didn't get through all the filler.
Yeah.
So I will say that. I'll leave it to Johnny to figure out how far we actually got through it. We never actually I never actually grew to like Naruto. I learned to tolerate him and I learned to understand him. I never grew to like him. Deku, you learn to like. And given the 3-season run of the series, you learn to like him relatively quickly.
And the series isn't over. We're just talking about what's come out so far.
Yeah. We're just talking about season 3 in the movie. Up to season 3 in the movie.
So you do get a sense, starting in season 1, that he's a motivated young man. But it does get better, I promise. And we'll talk about, let's talk about it right now. This is the first piece of media I have ever seen, first piece of long-form media I have ever seen that does this. And I thought this thing doesn't ever fucking exist. No slam against Game of Thrones fans, but here's what happened. My wife, without me, tried to watch Game of Thrones because somebody told them, you just gotta get through the first season and it gets good. The quote here is, it gets good. And my wife watched the first season, then she tried to watch the second season, hoping it would get better.
I got through season 2, episode 7.
And it doesn't get better. And she was upset because and I agree with this. A show shouldn't. I never thought that a show could get better magically. I thought that if it's good, it should be good right away.
Right, and a show should not have to earn my patience. A show should not have to be like, no, okay, like, yeah, it's slow start because you got to build up exposition on this character. He's kind of young and uneducated at this point, but he does get better because he grows as a person. I was like, no, you have to give me a reason to care about this character right away.
I never thought this kind of show existed, and I absolutely will vouch for this show.
Yes.
Get past season 1. It's a half-length season compared to the others. It is almost a night and day difference.
And I don't know if we're going to talk about the seasons later or not, but I will say season 1, oh my god, I thought this was every other fucking garbage
Your worst
shonen.
fears about this show were coming true.
Yeah, my worst fears about the show were coming through. Again, I thought it was Sky High, the goddamn anime, which is, Sky High is not a bad movie, but I'm just like, that's not what I wanted to watch. That's not what I wanted to devote my to. And then season 2 fucking punched me in the dick.
You have a dick? No, okay. I can see it having the Harry Potter. I can see, because you knew Harry Potter, you could see these special school story beats, and that was what worried you.
It's like Goblet of Fire of Harry Potter. Like, all of a sudden, this, like, real fucking ass shit comes out of nowhere, and you're like, ugh, where was this the whole time?
Oh, God. I think we should move on. Do you have anything else to say about Deku?
No, I have nothing else to say about Deku.
He's very cute. He's a fanboy, but it's played for laughs. Like, he's a fanboy that doesn't make him less of a good character.
Those of you who are watching this who are thinking about starting out the series, number 1, I'm so sorry you're here. Number 2, get past season 1. And I used to think that you should never ever say that about a series, that a series should grab your attention from the get-go. Deku is not somebody you're supposed to like immediately.
We're making an exception.
And that is okay.
Okay. Deku receives a special fucking... Okay. You know what? I choose to be deep about this character at first.
Johnny, throw up that scene.
No,
you know what I mean.
You know
what I mean, that screenshot.
Okay, well, leave it. We'll be deep about him after I get away the fucking best part. All Might is the fucking best character.
He's the fucking best!
He's, okay, look. Okay, a Japanese animator who's influenced by Western superhero. Can you imagine a Western superhero gag anime where it was played for laughs? This is still deep, but he knows that Superman can get silly sometimes. For God's sakes, All Might's fucking ringtone is a wave file of him shouting, "You have a phone call!" And his email is a wave file of, "You have an email!" And he has to fucking announce anything. I should have started the episode with, "I am here, recording a podcast.
I am here in an awkward position recording a podcast.
I am here. This is a really good beer." He has the exaggeration of that Western superhero trope that...
He has all of Deku's charm in season 1.
Oh my god.
Okay, so obviously All Might is this superhero, this man's hero, this hero's hero, this symbol of peace. And yet he's hiding this fact that, of course, he went through this horrible battle, and he sometimes devolved into this weird ass skeleton figure.
Yeah, so Spark Notes, he used to be powerful, and he got hurt one day, and now he can't be powerful all the time. He has to keep that.
Right, yeah. So he jumps between his muscle form and his skeleton form. His skeleton form delivers some of the most poignant fucking messages of the show.
There's really downtime messages, yeah.
When he needs to get real, he is absolutely real. When this series needs to bounce off the walls and give you some levity, holy shit, is All Might there to be your hero.
Here's what I like is one thing that I do get sick of in superhero media in the West is there's that phrase going around, the hero the city needs, not the one it deserves. You know, some people are either a character or a symbol. I think that he manages to be both.
He does, yes.
And it's a big deal, especially in seasons 2 and going on 3, that it's important that he's there.
All Might is this he's also a person, but he's also a symbol. But he's not like, oh, he's a person when he's in his zero form, and he's a symbol of peace when he's in his muscle form. No, he very much is both all of the time.
Yeah. And
you never expect that character to pop up whatever form he's in.
And I think that he understands that And he's a well-rounded character, but sorry.
Right. I love that he is a character and he's a person and he is the same person no matter what difficulties he comes up to and no matter what he's struggling with and no matter what message he's trying to deliver. All Might is the same person all the time. I wish Deku could do that, but I understand why he doesn't. Deku needs to evolve and grow as a character in order to make him believable and to make him a well-rounded character. All Might, he's an adult, therefore he can do both at the same time, and it's a great balance.
I'm here to be the Spark Notes in case somebody just wants the series spoiled for them. All Might's power is that it can be sent down from person to person to person to person to person. It's a game of telephone, the superpower.
Yes.
And he gives his power to Deku. It's a slow transition because he saw a fighting spirit in him, just a very natural urge to help people.
Right, and All Might has a kindred spirit in Deku. You learn later that All Might does, when he got this all-for-one power, that's the quirk he has, this all-for-one. When he received this power, he was also quirkless. He had this dream and he had this drive, but he didn't have the ability, and then the ability was bestowed upon him.
But his route is not as important as this route.
Right.
So we don't go into the backstory.
Yeah, you don't get the backstory of All Might, but you definitely see that through the clues you're given, there's a kindred spirit in Izuku Midoriya, Deku. And
that I saw in myself.
That you see in All Might, yeah.
By the way, we're going to go down this list. We're going to skip over some characters. Sorry.
Yeah, we're going to skip over some characters. We're going to talk about the ones that we feel need talked about. If we skip your favorite, super cool, yes,
we
this
apologize.
Is the best characters, sorry.
There are 80 characters.
Yeah.
I am here.
There's too many.
My laptop up.
I'm here in an awkward position. Johnny, show that screenshot.
I have a lot of problems with Bakugo.
We have a lot of problems with Bakugo.
Okay, guys, listen to me. Bakugo is...
put my beard out.
Yeah, please do. Bakugo is the Sasuke of this show, to put it lightly. Bakugo gets his characterization at the end, but for a long time, he's just the worst.
Here's my issue with Bakugo, and you cannot fully appreciate my opinion of Bakugo without appreciating my opinion of Todoroki, which we'll get to later. You are told that you get Bakugo's origin story way 2 seasons before you actually get his origin story. Episode, what is it, 60-something?
I don't know. Yeah, 60 episodes.
60-some episodes. You actually get why the fuck he's so angry, why the fuck he hates Deku, why the fuck he's so attached to All Might. That takes 60 episodes, but you're told it happens 40 fucking episodes before that.
But here's the thing, is that the characterization you get up front is that Bakugo is a very skilled, talented individual, and that he's got this big explosion power. He's gonna be the best because he likes All Might, just like Deku does. And that's played for laughs. I'm angry and I'm mad at Deku. And then he doesn't get characterization for 40 episodes. For 40 episodes, it's just shouting. It's just kicking the shit out of people. And he's consistently shouting like, oh, how dare you even try? And he does get this characterization about how he feels that it's unfair that he was gifted this god power from his idol and not him. And when you do realize that's why he feels bad, it's a good, well-earned character development. Wish I hadn't had to wait 60 episodes for that.
Yeah, you were kind of playing around with pronouns there. My issue with Bakugo is that you are kind of led by a thread around Bakugo for way too long. As John said, he's very angry, he's very upfront, he's very much wanting to be the best. But you're never really given a reason why. You're given hints as to why. You're never really allowed to dive inside his head. And I think it's because, I don't know if it's a lost in translation thing. I think if in Japan his anger is played for laughs.
I believe that in English his anger is played for laughs.
But in the carryover, there's something that just gets lost.
Let me, we'll talk about Mineta here in a second, but imagine if Mineta had a gigantic, suddenly here's why he's a shithead moment. You'd go, why was he a perv for 40 fucking episodes?
Right. And I like Bakugo's transition. I like the idea that, okay, this passion for All Might that Deku has, it can lead to two different people. One of them is Deku, the other one is Bakugo. This person who's constantly striving to be the best, this person who is constantly born with this idea, this ability to be the best and constantly strives to do that. You're never given a reason for his behavior until 60 episodes through, that big final fight.
With 3 episodes left in the 3rd season.
Yeah, that big fight, after hours that he has with Deku. And one of the best animated scenes in the entire series, by the way. One of the best animated scenes I've ever seen in anime.
3 scenes in the entire series receive an animation bump. This is one of them.
This is absolutely gorgeous, this fight that they have.
And it's so well earned after 40 episodes of just angry attempts at humor. And that when they finally get caught and are sentenced to 3 or 4 days of picking up the dorms, where there's a very small pause after Deku says, "How did you like my ex?" And he goes, long pause, "You're never going to be the best if you're that sloppy."
And here's my issue. I don't think that was well earned.
Go ahead.
I don't think Bakugo earned that with the character we were given, with the character that was portrayed throughout most of the series. I almost feel like he was trying to be played as a comic relief that had a kind of subtext of deeper character, a subtext that we were never given until way, way too late.
Let me I want to give you credit here. You've changed my mind and required me to addend my statement here. My statement was, when he finally does show that Deku, that character growth and that admiration for Deku, it was less of like a, yes, character development, more of like a glass of water when I've been walking through the rainforest for 8 months. I'm just like, thank you.
Yes, you finally get a reason for why Bakugo was there. And you want it to be a relief. You're finally, like, you want it to be like, oh, okay, now I finally understand him. You really feel more like, oh my god, that's why he's such a fucking dickhead. My issue is Bakugo gets nothing. Absolutely zero. Absolutely no attention. Absolutely zero
until the second half
character development until the second half of season fucking 3.
But hey, he's the most popular character 3 out of 4 times.
That's and again, maybe something is lost in translation. I don't agree with how Bakugo is handled at all. I believe it's a disservice to the character. I believe it's a disservice to the voice actor who's doing a terrific job. Props.
Good job.
Both Japanese and English.
Sorry about your throat.
You're doing a disservice to a character that could have a lot of depth if you gave him the attention he deserved.
That's fair. Okay, hot take, and my wife will back me up. Todoroki is the Bakugo we deserved.
Todoroki is the better Sasuke, I'll give you that.
He's the more developed, not Deku of the series. And I think that after Deku and Bakugo, Todoroki gets a phenomenal characterization.
And he gets it right away.
And he gets it at an appropriate time. There's not enough time in season 1 to give it to him because there's 13 episodes and 20 characters plus. But he does get that in the tournament arc in season 2. Because tournament arc is the best way to get to know people. Here's a spark notes for somebody who hasn't who wants spoiled. Todoroki, Jesus Christ, this does not scan well in America at all. Todoroki is the son of the second most popular hero, Endeavor. We'll get to him later. His dad is he has a fire quirk, and he wanted to create an offspring with 2 quirks, because in the early days where people they didn't know what was right and wrong in terms of quirks, they're like, if I fuck somebody with a quirk, our baby can have like eugenic superpowers. And I mean, they know that it's wrong now, but he was born before that happened.
Can they fucking say that very, very briefly with Todoroki's home life, you see just how many failed attempts Endeavor and this ice lady went through to get to Todoroki.
If I can finish.
And that's fucked up.
So he finally had that, and for that reason he hates his dad. You learn earlier, And because of our experience with Bakugo, I was worried Todoroki was going to be the strong silent type who you were just supposed to like for no fucking reason. He has ice and fire powers. And for whatever reason, I said this like 2 episodes before it got mentioned. He never uses his fire powers. No, that's not an oversight. He hates his dad so much for what he did to his mom, which is pretty much like a forced marriage / I don't want to get into the specifics, but he wants to show that he could be the best without being the monster that his dad was. And, for that reason, you get to learn about him. But you learn about him fast enough that you don't think he's a silent cool boy. This is my wife's favorite Bay.
This is, and I feel like, everybody's like, you like Todoroki? Of fucking course you like Todoroki. No, hear me out. As John said, Todoroki is the Bakugo we deserved. Todoroki, who's the one who, actually got a fucking origin story in season 1?
2.
Season 2? Okay, at the very beginning of season 2.
During the arc,
yeah. You didn't barely know him in season 1, where Bakugo's
but you get to know him right away.
Whatever.
You're like...
But yeah, the second you get to know him and you're like, he's a dark, brooding type. How fucking boring character is that? Oh my god, his dad fucking raped his mother so he could get the perfect child. What the fuck?
He goes over this whole thing where he learns that okay, okay, guys, this is real. Okay, so like...
John wanted to hate this guy.
No. I didn't want to hate this guy. I had my reservations. I want to hate Bakugo, and I still do. Okay, guys, listen. If you're a Rick and Morty fan, you take a side thing of this.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
If you're a Rick and Morty fan, remember season 2, Lawnmower Dog, where they're like, we should put down Morty because, he's sick and he's going to die. And Snowballs goes, we are not them. It's Deku. I like that Deku's a good character because his existence imparts positive life lessons on other people. And when Todoroki's being this shithead and he won't use his powers, he's kind of getting his ass kicked, Deku's like, what the fuck, bro? You are not your dad. You are you. And he kind of looks at himself and goes, holy shit, you're right.
Right.
I want to kick your ass now.
Right, but you get the idea Todoroki has never had to sit down and consider that before. I am not my dad. I am not my mom. I am not the situation that made me. I am my own person. And that is a totally fucking relatable character arc. It's not like fucking Sasuke was like, I'm the best, but God, doesn't being a teenager suck? He has a really fucking organic character arc, and I love that. And early season 2, which season 1 I'm gonna fucking throw by the wayside because it sucks. Early season 2, he's the only character that gets a fucking organic character arc.
I think that people, he's gonna be one of the most popular characters. Let's do him justice. Let's not create a Sasuke.
And I feel terrible that Todoroki is my favorite character, but God, he gets a great character arc. He's a great interaction with his dad. And yeah, he's like strong, cool, silent type, but it comes from a very real place, and his interactions with other characters has everything to do with who he is and what he went through as a person.
I feel like the creator was like, yes, you're going to like this character, but let me give you a reason to. And I understand that he's sexy, and we do see a lot of collarbone in the movie.
Yeah, you do. Oh my god. You get to see him mostly naked throughout most of the thing because he burns off all of his clothes.
But you earn it, and he's good. And there is one unfortunate episode near the end of season 3 where, and I always like to say that this series is like a terrible alcoholic. In the first season, his wife has left him, and I'm just chugging every day. In season 2, he's like, there's life beyond alcohol, and he gets better, and he starts working out, and suddenly this is a phenomenal show. But then sometimes in a bad episode, he falls off the wagon and he has a quart. And that episode is the fucking episode where some random character we just met is like, I hate you because you remind me of your dad.
You're talking about Wind Turbine, aren't you?
Fuck Wind Turbine.
Fuck Wind Turbine and everything you stand for. Fuck you.
The point is, a character that knew Todoroki when he was a shithead, he's like, I don't like you because of that. And
No. He doesn't even like Todoroki because of who he is. He hates Todoroki because of who his dad is.
And I'm like, yes, I can see how somebody would be upset, but we're retreading already well wrapped up grounds.
Yeah, and so you completely waste my time for an entire fucking few episodes, and I hate it.
But he's a good, well-rounded character.
He is, yes, and he's the first well-rounded character. And again, Todoroki seems such like an easy fucking, oh yeah, of course that's your favorite character. No. When you see how this series treats other characters, like Deku and like Bakugo, you really, really appreciate how they treat Todoroki, and I'm like, oh my god, you can fucking create people and not tropes.
I'm gonna flip the order of two people here.
Okay.
We were gonna talk about Uraraka. Let's talk about Iida first. Our good friend Buster Joe.
Buster Joe, oh yeah.
Jesus Christ, let me just give you a spark notes. Beginning with the sexy anime swimming show, Free, there was one character who was smart, but he also wanted to be a swimmer, and we called him Sexy Joe because we're fucking anime racists. He has dark hair and glasses, so of course he's Joe. We call him Sexy Joe.
We call him Joe from Digimon.
Thank you.
That's the Joe.
Thank you. In comes Buster Joe, because I feel so bad.
Fucking edges in his calves.
I feel so bad because, like, Iida's such a good character, to call him Buster Joe is a disservice, but yes, he's that same kind of character. He has the flailing arms. He's like, he believes in the rules to a fault, so he's funny, but he's also a good character, and I understand that he kind of flies by the wayside, but he has a special arc in the second part of season 2 that people call the Stained arc. And it's fucking fantastic because
yes.
Let me tell you, Buster Joe, I'm sorry his name is Iida, he's part of a family that supports the superhero Ingenium, which is he's the cop, he's the Aizawa of from Death Note of this show. He believes in justice and taking on the family name and saving everybody and following the rules. And his older brother, who is currently Ingenium, because all of his family have the rocket shoes that he has, he gets hurt by Stain, this really hardcore, like, ghetto villain who is really cool, but we'll get to him later. He's like, I'm gonna get revenge during my work study, and his quest for revenge, this person who has a cop family, his quest for revenge gets him in a shit ton of trouble and almost kills 3 people. So Iida, like, he realizes when Stain corners them and 2 others and 1 bystander in the alleyway, he's like, wow, I fucked up really bad.
I don't have much to say about Iida, which in this series case is a very, very good nod to the character. Iida is one of those people I fucking smile and I fucking get excited every single time he's on screen. And for a series with this large a cast, that is very, very hard to do.
Yeah.
So that, I think, says all that needs to be said about Iida's character, is that he's just a joy to watch.
He's very good. He's funny, but he has a set of values. And I'm not saying you have to have, like, the black and white Batman values, like, I will never kill anybody. His values are justice and the rules.
Yes. And he defends them in a way that you really get behind him, rather than making fun of him as like, oh, you're the class rep.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Once he gets his Stain arc, he does kind of fall by the wayside, and I agree with that because we need to develop other characters.
Right.
He did get a very competent Todoroki style arc, and I love that. Yeah,
it's a very, very solid built character.
Last things about Buster Joe. She's shaking her head. Nah, you're a good dude, Buster Joe.
As they drink water.
Oh, guys, this is best girl, but it's also a reason you don't go on TV tropes because it makes you sad.
You have far more about to say this character than I do, so go for it.
Uraraka is, and I'm gonna say this about all the girls, is bae. I just she's so fucking cute and bubbly, and she does get some character development, but here's the thing about Uraraka is that she don't go on TV tropes. I'm about to ruin Ura for you. There's a TV trope called demoted to satellite love interest. What that means is she was a big character at first, and then when it was revealed that she kind of has feelings for one of the more core characters, that becomes her trait, is I'm the girlfriend or the SO or the crush of a core character. And you can see her kind of slip down the popularity polls. But she's super cute, and she wants to help people, and she got the little gravity boots and a little butt and little shoulders. I'm sorry, she's a good character. She wants to help her family. Go. I have to stop me, please.
Okay, so one thing I love about Uraraka is that she has probably the most interesting character development of any character in the series. there's this very, very real moment where we're all considering, why the fuck do you guys want to be heroes?
In season 1, no less.
Deku wants to be like All Might. Iida wants to be like his brother. Todoroki wants to be not like his dad. Whatever. Uraraka wants to earn a whole bunch of money. And you think that, like, oh, how shallow of you, what the hell, you would just want to end this for the job? No, her parents are struggling contractors, and she wants to earn a bunch of money so they can live a comfortable life, because she wants the best for her family.
And you're like, wow, I can't really judge that at all.
And this is from a girl who up until now, you're expected to gasm just like John did. About, oh, cute shoulders, oh, cute gravity quirk, oh, cute head pat zone, yada, yada, yada.
By the way, holy shit, head pat zone.
But, I mean, like, this is a character, much like Todoroki, you're not expected to look kind of twice at. And they really, really give her the head nod. Now, yes, she does kind of get satellite love interest, where the second she realizes her feelings for Deku, she falls by the wayside. But up until that point, she's handled very, very well. In fact, I will go ahead and say this. She is the best part of season 1.
I would think very much so. To the fact where she's like almost the focus of one of the EDs.
Right, yeah. I think she is the most watchable part of season 1, which is, I'm sorry, fans of the series, season 1 is awful. It is absolutely awful.
I wouldn't call it awful, I'd call it pretty bad. Yeah.
It's almost unwatchable.
I wouldn't call it unwatchable. It's not good. It's whatever compared to by itself, compared to the other seasons, it's pretty fucking bad.
Yeah.
But she's the shining star that everybody likes.
Yep.
And she's cute and fun.
Uraraka well handled all throughout the series.
Speaking of, like, really well-developed side characters, this is the first officially side character where I said, wow, you really got, like, a good shake, is Asui.
Oh, yeah.
The frog.
The frog. Fun fact, our curator of history at the museum, his daughter's favorite character is this girl.
And I see it. Not only do I see it given her personality, I see it on a general level. She is cool.
She's cool. She's competent. She's kind of like a baby Starfire. Like, she's cool. She's awesome. She's kind of adorable.
Yeah,
and
really.
She will rock your shit up.
Holy fucking shit. She's also the first member of the... This is basically a superpower. And
I love those. I was like, she can do pretty much anything a blur can.
She can do whatever a frog can do, including jump really fucking high. And you'd think she'd be an outlier, but then you see people like Gang Orca. He can do whatever a whale can. Fuck it.
And then I love how I think it's Eraserhead, how he describes Sue in some of their final exams, is that Sue is the emotional support. She is the emotional core of the entire class of 1A.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a heavy, heavy burden to put on anybody's shoulders, and she carries it with fucking aplomb. She's a great character, greatly well-developed, not given the most time and attention, but the time and attention she's given is very, very well spent.
She's definitely in the transition period between core cast and supporting cast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. I like her.
Very well handled.
I like that she's consistently in a one piece, not only in the show, but in all the fan art. And that's consistency. Like,
and that one piece has frog feet, and I'm like, does she actually?
Does it really?
Does she actually have frog feet, or
no?
Does
I think
she just jump really good?
She's just super cute. I just like she's just like got a nice like flat head on her shoulders, and it's nice. Okay, guys, and here's the thread with all the supporting characters. I'm gonna get the jokes out of the way right away. Before I knew all the characters, I was looking up Rule 34 of this show.
Oh God, why? Why are we going this right now?
And there's a picture of Kirishima with a giant smile on his face and just a 3-foot long hard cock. And now every time I see him, he's just got a 3-foot hard dick. He's fun and he wants to help the least popular character in my brain.
Your Rule 34 is discrediting Kirishima as a character.
He's fun. He's fun and he's good and he wants to help.
I will say, not to be that person, I totally unironically ship Kirishima and Bakugo to fucking death.
He's like one of the most obvious ships, let alone gay ships.
Right, yeah. It has nothing to do with the fact that they're both guys. I have never seen somebody who stands by somebody who was so fucking shitty.
He's the only
more than Kirishima stands by Bakugo.
He's the only legitimate friend of like one of the shittiest characters in the show.
And my favorite thing about Bakugo is that his quirk kind of seems like whatever. And this comes up with other characters later, but his quirk kind of seems like, what? You can just harden your skin, whatever. No, he finds such cool fucking shit to do with it. And I forgot to say this about Bakugo earlier. Bakugo probably has the best control of his quirk of any character in the series, including the pros. Kirishima probably has the best support quirk of any character in the series.
It's very good.
Yeah, I love what he does with it. I love his ingenuity. I love his chemistry with every character on the team. I love his chemistry, especially with Bakugo. Read that into what you will.
Hey, I'm a boy and she's a girl. Deal with it. Okay.
He bounces off everybody very well, and I love that.
I have one thing to say about Kirishima, and this is like a hint at really good characterization that I'm glad they threw in there. They're picking superhero names. And Kirishima gets up and he says, I'm going to be the Crimson Riot. And the girl there helping them make names is like, oh, that's an homage to the Red Riot, right? Yeah, he's one of my favorites growing up. Yeah, Red Riot? He has an idol. He has a Deku-style idol.
Right, but it never comes up again.
It doesn't, but it's the idea that he has idols and dreams, and he has... The show knows that it shouldn't spend time tackling it, but it's nice to see that he also has aspirations behind some silly websites putting him in situations with Bakugo.
Yeah, I don't know, I guess. I think Kirishima stands more out on his own merit than Rule 34 stands him out.
No, he's a good character. I'm sorry the first time I saw you had a giant dick. It says a lot about this character that she shares a scene with Todoroki, and you still feel good about her. Yoayorozu.
Yeah!
Yoayorozu is...
Everybody go watch that episode right now. So Todoroki tied up in a bunch of tentacles.
Don't do that. She does get characterization, and I think... I see, I'm torn because she gets one chunk of characterization and then not a lot else.
Yeah, she's kind of the worst half of Kirishima, where her characterization comes from a very real place. But unfortunately, it's never really touched on again. You kind of see her, she's the level-headed of the group. She's very smart. She's very competent. She's very much a go-getter. She's very much like the girl version of Iida. She knows what's going on. She knows how to handle herself in a situation. I really, really enjoy the arc that she has of learning to believe in herself, but that arc is too short. We spend way more time on Bakugo being fucking angry about nothing.
God damn it.
That we could have spent on Yoayorozu learning about herself and her friends. I like where she ends up. I like where that character development ends up. I wish it was given more time. Because she's a great character and she deserves it.
I understand that if she was going to be one of the main characters on the Get Bakugo Back arc, she needed something, and I think that's why they gave it to her.
Right, and I love the final exam time. That episode with Todoroki, those two versus Eraserhead, the ingenuity she shows, and as a girl, I understand what it's like to not have confidence in yourself, to not to be sexy, and that's the only thing you're ever expected to be. That's the thing I think a lot of anime girls fall into that they never really touch on, and I really appreciate how it's handled here, but it's only handled for one episode.
A little more time. I maybe the manga has some stuff that got cut out. I understand there's a lot of characters you do have to sacrifice.
But she's a great character. She's great for what she is. I wish she was given more, because she deserves it.
She does. She's a good character. Jiro...
Talk about people who deserve more time.
Oh, no. I think she got the right amount of time. Let me a background. My gateway shonen was Naruto, and I was a gigantic Hinata fanboy. And Hinata has the Jiro haircut, kind of short, with the little hair that comes down in front of the ears.
But not the Jiro personality.
Not the Jiro personality.
No.
Jiro is like the kind of person you would want to hang out with, listen to some Rolling Stones. She's so cool, so laid back. She sacrifices almost nothing in the way of character.
Her parents are cool.
Her parents are in a band. Of course they're fucking in a band. And you would think that her power of having to use your ears to hear good and make sound waves, that would be like stupid, like one of the stupid ones. Like I can spout water out of my finger. You'd think that would be stupid, but she holds her own against a lot of different people. She doesn't get her day in the sun, but she's a really cool to have around. She's integral in a lot of really cool fights.
I love how Jiro is proven herself valuable to the team in very, very subtle ways. Almost kind of the way I wish Raven was handled in Teen Titans. Um, she's always the one kind of in the corner listening for where the bad guys are. She's always the one kind of doing reconnaissance before the big fights happen.
Yes.
Before Todoroki and Bakugo and Deku jump in and save the day. She's the one who told these people where they were.
Yeah.
She's very much kind of the spy in a team of policemen.
She would make a great FBI member.
Right, and she's never asking for more than what she's given. She's never thinking like, "Oh my gosh, hey, I did all this cool stuff for you guys. You guys should do." No, she's never like that, and she recognizes her limits. She has a very, very clear idea of who she is and what she can do, and I really admire that.
She doesn't really want the limelight.
Yeah, she's very comfortable with who she is and where she's at, and given the other characters in the show who have to experience great, great character arcs to grow into their quirks, Jiro is very comfortable with who she is right away, and that's really, really refreshing.
It's very refreshing. Picking up speed here, Tokoyami is really fucking cool, and when you don't know what the fan art is, as we did,
Pikachu?
This is fucking Kaka.
Oh, this is Kaka.
Going to these fucking things and you, without knowing the character, seeing their faces, and I'm like, that man is just a straight up bird.
What the fuck is with the bird dude?
He's cool, but also he doesn't have a lot of stuff. He does have, it's a cool power. I'm sure he's a good dude. He doesn't get a ton of characterization, but I like that he has a fucking bird head, and he's still, cool. Go on.
I love how he has Dark Shadow is a fucking asshole.
Is he really?
I love how Dark Shadow is
real quick. Dark Shadow is this shadow he can summon, this bird-shaped shadow.
Yeah, it's the spirit that lives inside him, and he can manipulate it very, very tangentially. When it's really, really light out, Dark Shadow listens to his commands very well. When it's really dark out, Dark Shadow goes out of control, and everything in between. You listen to Dark Shadow. I love how Tokoyami very much has his own personality. He's very serious. He's much like Iida, very serious, very straight-laced. He's kind of like the love child between Iida and Todoroki. He's very serious, very straight-laced, but Dark Shadow has his own personality, and it's not disingenuous with Tokoyami, but it's also like, oh, I'm also my own being, and I can do what I want, and I can fuck your shit up.
And
he
carries
really
people to safety.
And he carries people to safety,
He's
but he
good.
can also completely rape the fuck out of Tokoyami during that one scene in the Forest of Death.
Okay, ignore the fact that my wife just said the word rape. We play this fun drinking game where every time he says a word, we end it with the phrase caw.
Because he's actually a bird.
I know, it's like he's a super articulate, intelligent person, but at the end he's just like, caw.
Caw.
We have to get these people to safety, caw.
Yeah.
That's the end of him. He's a cool character.
Yeah, Tokoyami's good. Given great arcs.
We're at an hour in, or 50 minutes in. I'm not going to inflate what we need to talk about. I'm going to let you take the wheels on this one because you think he's cute. I think he's fun. We called him Pikachu the entire series. I'm sorry, again, you're a cool character. Give the lowdown. I'm going to cross the people off our list.
No, okay, give me his real name because I feel bad calling him Pikachu.
His name is Kaminari.
Kaminari, and that's such a whatever name. That's such a, the traditional Japanese character name.
Whatever.
So Kaminari's thing is that he can shoot Sparkies at all of his enemies, but he can't control where the bolts go, number one. And number two, he turns into a fucking idiot if he wastes his entire power.
So he's fun.
I really, really like Kaminari's big thing is chemistry. He bounces off every single other character, usually Mineta, but every single other character very, very well. He is the most tolerable part of Mineta. We'll get to Mineta a little bit later. I like his quirk. I think his quirk is fucking badass. I think the fact that he turns stupid after he uses it is fucking hilarious. I think that Jiro constantly makes fun of him is a great add-on to her character. He's very much I'm a character, I'm there purely when you need me to be and nowhere else. He's the quintessential side character. He has his own personality, his own thoughts, his own dreams, but he's never distracting.
No, he's not.
Which is something I really, really love out of a side character. You can't really say that out of a lot of them, especially with a lot of them in My Hero. Mineta is one of those very, very rare characters. He is given exactly as much screen time as he deserves.
I agree.
Which I really, really admire that and how the editors handle him.
Yeah.
So good job there.
One thing that I like about Kaminari, and this is gonna feel bad, is that he's Mineta without being Mineta. Like Cyborg is Beast Boy without being Beast Boy.
Yes.
He gets to be a perv too, but he's a little easier to swallow than Mineta is.
Yeah.
And his quirk doesn't involve balls.
If you haven't gathered, by the way, we're covering 1A first. Yeah, Mineta's very solid. He bounces off Kirishima and Bakugo very well. He bounces off Mineta, Deku, and the others very, very well. He's a perv, but not gross. You're never like threatened by him. You're obviously just like, oh, he's
cool
weird.
Dude. Oh, can we mention? There's like a My Hero version of Team 8 in here. We find out early, which is Kaminari, Yoayorozu, the creation gal, and Jiro.
That's only relevant to a very small subset of people.
If you watch Naruto, this 3-person team who shows up for like 2 episodes in the first invasion arc.
Who's teammate in Naruto?
Kiba, Shino, and Hinata. And I guess Jiro is Hinata, so of course I gotta make the parallel. If they share a frame together, better ship them.
Yep, if they share a hairstyle, boy, that makes them the same fucking girl.
Okay. I am caught in a corner. I can't say a lot about Ashido. Because there's not a lot to say about Ashido. She's cute and peppy, and I like that she's...
Acid Girl?
Acid Girl.
Okay, yeah, so we didn't mention before, we know most of these characters by their nicknames.
Well, I know Ashido because she's cute and fun and peppy and very girly.
Horny porny Acid Girl.
She's not horny porny. What does that even
mean? Dude,
mean?
her boobs and butt are constantly on display every time she's on screen.
She's got rockin' tits, but she, like, I understand, I don't want to be that guy, but I like that she's a girly girl, despite being a superhero, and she's got the little, there's not a lot to say about her.
There's a lot, I mean, there's a lot you could do with the whole alien girl. Is she weird about her body image? No, she's not, and the discussion done. Yeah, very well handled. We're really getting into side characters now.
Yeah, here we go.
Not as much to say about it.
Let's speed up. Aoyama is belly button dude. And here, dude, here's this is stuck in my memory now, is when they're having a foot race 2 at a time, and Aoyama wins his heat because he's like, ooh, and then he shoots lasers out of his belly button. And he's just such a flamboyant SOB. Go ahead. I'm out.
Can I talk about when they're in the Forest of Death, which is not actually called the Forest of Death.
You know what we mean.
It's when they're in their training camp. He's the one who fucking saves everybody's goddamn lives.
Really?
Yeah, he's the one who distracts the villains with this big light beam.
He beacons them by doing a crab. And then
Well, and then later in the hero licensing thing, he beckons everyone by doing the crab. So he is like the one you think is going to be the coward, and yet he ends up kind of pulling through for everybody.
It's another one of those, he gets the perfect amount of attention. Right,
he's very subtly handled, because, oh my god, give this guy too much attention, he would be goddamn unbearable. I would hate every second he's on screen.
But goddamn it, he's like, I'm the best. My hero name has never stopped twinkling.
And I love how he's handled. I love how, when the going gets tough, he's like, all right, we need to throw the bullshit aside and do this. That's what makes him bearable.
He does.
And he's also the one who tells Uraraka that she has feels.
Got the feels, bro. Quick spoilers for Aoyama. You can cut to the next chapter if this bothers you. There was a cut scene from the anime.
Oh?
Where you find out that Aoyama's got a teeny bit of a one-for-all problem, that he can't quite handle his quirk. So he needs that belt.
That, I wish that was better explained, because you always wonder where he got the belt.
So I believe that the situation where it should have been is when he fights Acid Girl in the summer arc, and she melts his belt. And he's like, oh, you beat me! But no, that has more serious implications than...
Yeah, that's a shame. I wish he had gotten more...
I understand you gotta cut stuff.
Yeah, both of those two deserve more attention, but I understand you have to cut things. But yeah, that's a neat quirk about his character.
Yeah, it is. Shoji has a bunch of fucking arms. And they can make stuff.
He's constantly the person I'm like, why the fuck are you in this scene right now?
Well, he's just got to be there. They got to round
what
up
in
the
the
cast.
fuck? You're running around in the freaking hero exams as a tank with Sue and Mineta hiding in your duplicate arms.
I don't have to talk about. He's one of the least developed characters, but I do have to talk about him. Here's the scene where he's important. I'm sure he's a nice guy. Here's the scene where he had the most impact for me. During the the sports festival arc, he gets put on a team with Sue and Mineta, and he basically uses his arms to form a tank around them while the two inside do the dirty work. And I remember like Deku or something saying, "Is that even legal?" And I'm like, "What the fuck? That isn't legal."
What the fuck? That isn't legal. What the hell are you talking about? That's a quirk.
It was just so fucking out there. They're like, "Yeah, we're fucking throwing balls."
That's another one, and I feel bad. This is the only thing we have to say about each one of the side characters, but the exact amount of attention he deserves is given to him. He's really cool. You get a very clear idea of his personality, and yet there's not much to say about him besides his quirk is fucking awesome. It blows my mind. And every time he's on screen, you know why he's there, and you understand what he's doing.
Yeah. Here's somebody I didn't expect to like was fucking Tape Arms. Sero.
Yeah.
He shoots tape. I like him.
If it wasn't for the hero exam, I would have been kind of whatever about him.
He's cool, I guess.
I love how he's much like Bakugo. He has kind of Bakugo and Kirishima. He has very much kind of a whatever quirk. You're like, oh yeah, that's kind of weird. He uses it in ways you'd never imagine.
He's so good with it, yeah.
And it's really, really refreshing to see like, oh my god, what in the hell can you do with that? Oh, that's what you can do with that. Oh, look at you.
So there's a man early in the series where my wife goes, that man has a tail. There's not a ton to say about him. He has a tail.
And that's kind of,
Ojiro, yeah.
I think that's all the series really wants you to say about him, is that he has a tail.
He does serve a purpose where he's like, yeah, I got brainwashed earlier, but that's not important, I don't think.
Right. And again, he does that Kirishima and Sero thing where he's very much like, this quirk seems really, really stupid until you go and apply it to practical advances, and then you're like, holy shit, this is really cool.
It really is. We're going hyper speed now. Koda has the ability...
How have we not hit Mineta yet?
He's the last one. Fuck him.
Why is he the last?
Oh my god. Koda can talk to animals.
That comes up twice.
It's cool.
And that's
He's a shy guy, but he can talk to animals. That's neat.
He is the one that I wish he's the only side character that is not given enough attention. Him and Sugar Rush.
Yeah. Okay. Sugar Rush.
So yeah, we might as well talk about these two at the same sweep. Sugar Rush and what's the Anna Voice's name? I'm gonna call him Anna Voice and Sugar
Anna
Rush.
Voice and Sugar Rush. Yeah.
You know what the hell I mean? They're barely in it. They really are barely in it. They're the side characters that are given the least attention.
They're the side characters of side characters.
Which is really, really unfortunate because you do all these weird, neat things. I know you can do really, really cool things with side characters, but I feel like your cast got too big. And I'm almost at the point with these two where if you're not going to spend the attention that they deserve, don't bother.
Yeah, just real quick, Sugar Voice, Jesus Christ. Sugar Rush, he gets powerful when he eats sugar, but then he gets a little weird. That's it. No characterization. I want to talk about Hagakure, the invisible girl.
Invisigirl.
You can't do a lot with, you can't.
That's what I call her. We have nicknames for all these people. Invisalign is her.
Yikes. I can't, there's nothing to be done with her. The gag is that she's invisible, and she's in some scenes, but it's never as a character.
And this is part of, like, dude, I respect you as a YouTuber, at least I used to. This is part of my breakup with Mother's Basement, is that your one joke through the entirety of your My Hero Academia series was saying, like, oh, there's her in the background. Now you can't see her because she's invisible.
Hey, let's not bring other people in it. This is long enough as it is.
Yeah.
She's invisible and cute and peppy, and that's her character.
Right, yeah. She's acid girl, but invisible. That's it.
We can't characterize people we can't see. That's just how fan art works.
But they do, and that's awesome.
But you're great. I'm sure you're great. Fucking Mineta. Jesus fucking Christ.
I think Mineta's okay.
Here's the thing. I'm sure he's okay now, but he was ranking just consistently horribly in the fucking popularity polls.
Because he's an 8-year-old pervert.
No. He's not number 1. He's not 8. I found that out. I don't know how old he is. He's the shortest member. Here's the thing, though, and I have to say this. The creator of the show has said he's one of the funnest characters to draw because of the circles. He gets better. He's an unbearable prick for a while. He wants all them titties, and at first you're like, God damn it, dude. I understand there are pretty girls here. Is that your only joke? I'm sure in Japan that flies better. But you do find out Uraraka style that like he wants to become famous so he can get his dick wet. What? And as soon as when you realize that he's unashamed that those are his life goals, he gets better.
Yeah. When he's not the weird little like, oh, I'm perverted, but I'm weird about it. There's lots of anime tropes that do that. Mineta is not that way. He's very open and honest about who he is. I really admire that about him as a character.
Oh, okay.
Unlike the fanboys who kind of shit on him, but still drool over boobies and titties and
I do
butts.
like boobies and titties and butts. Two quick real flybys. Mei Hatsume, the support girl with the sniper eyes.
Fuck her!
Wow.
Fuck her with a giant iron fist.
That she made. No, Mei is the one making the support items, and she wants to
a shit.
Be popular, and she helps people. She serves a plot purpose.
Yep, she's dumb, peppy, and is into everybody's dick. What the fuck do you need more to know?
Fucking Jesus Christ. Next one. Sorry, Mei fans.
I hate her to death.
Okay. Shinso shows up briefly, and I wouldn't reference this character except he has one of the better theming episodes. He's the character that can brainwash somebody if they respond to one of his questions. Yes, Haley.
Okay, so I will say this about Shinso. When you're watching the series, you kind of fan make characters in your head. Shinso is the story I wanted told, and I wanted it told more than one episode. What happens when your quirk kind of generally tends you towards being a villain?
I'm gonna just spark notes this episode because this is really cool. Is that you would think that this would just be a Bakura for Yugi to beat. It's just somebody for Deku to beat round 1. But he does get just enough attention where he says, dude, this is what I can do. This is a really evil thing, right? And he does lose because Deku, snaps out of it, the brainwashing to beat him. And he's always like, I'm just resigned to be a villain. And on his way out of the stadium, you hear some people are like, dude, he would be really good for reconnaissance and information gathering. I bet he would make a great hero. And he hears that and he gives a gentle smile upwards.
Well, and I love that. I really love how that fight with Deku. I feel bad that it's only one episode. It really, really deserved. Honestly, again, if we spent all the time that Bakugo spent being fucking angry about nothing.
Fuck you, dude.
We could have given this guy more credit and given him kind of a true arc rather than an episode of the only reason I didn't pass the entrance exam to be in the hero course was because that the hero course demands that you kill robots to succeed.
And I can't take
my quirk completely demands that I take over human beings.
And the entrance exam is definitely unfair to people that don't have offensive quirks.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of unfair to people who have long distance quirks.
Yeah.
People like Jiro.
Yeah.
So I really, really wanted this guy's story told more. I honestly, kind of Legend of Korra style, if anybody who's seen that. I really wanted that told Amon style of oh, here's somebody who doesn't have that special power. Who's somebody who has been belittled by everybody else the entire time. I wanted that story told, and it was merely kind of touched on, and then we moved on to Bakugo fucking being angry again.
But he's a good theming. I would love him to have a backstory like Mikami style, but
or even a side arc or a small
OVA maybe.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Because he deserves more time.
He does, and that's good. But I like his idea that you don't have to be what you feel like. You don't have to have a villainous superpower, but. Speaking of that, we're gonna get into the villains because I know this is already an enormous podcast.
Right, you knew this was
You knew it. We'll talk about the villains real quick. Mainly the League of Villains. We'll get into the ones that matter the most here, starting with All for One, who was being pumped as this big ass villain
And then he
to
gets 2 episodes.
All for One. No, I think he's a mysterious bad guy that gets.
He's kind of the big bad that exists beyond your realm of consciousness, and then he exists, and then like, oh shit, now that he's real, we can't do anything with him. Let's kill him.
Well, no, I buy. Unlike the villain from the movie, I buy that he has stolen a shit ton of quirks.
Right.
And he's just super crazy overpowered. Once. And when you beat him, like, he's more of an idea villain. He's the one that allows people to realize that All Might isn't what he used to be, and to get all these villains to come together.
Right, and I love the idea of an idea villain, but again, the second you turn an idea villain into a fucking real person, you kill him.
Well, thank God it's a 1-episode fight then.
Right. I would have preferred All for One to remain a series finale. I would have preferred him to remain kind of an idea, a kind of abstract thing that we fight. I would have much preferred to focus on Handsy Hands. What's his name?
We'll get to him. He's next. Here's the I disagree with your idea that he should be a series finale, because I grew up with people like Sylar from Heroes, where he was the big bad for so long. He's just so dry. Him showing up so fast, that made it exciting.
And again, I disagree. I feel like making this this thing that All Might has been fighting against his entire life, to have him dead in a fucking 2-episode finale.
He's not dead, by the way,
but I mean, you know what I mean.
Resolved as far as the story goes. To have him resolved
as an arc and completely move on past him in season 3. He feels very flat.
Well, you don't even know his name. I think he serves less a character purpose and more of a story purpose.
Right, but that doesn't make that story arc good. That doesn't make that story arc coherent. That doesn't make that story arc rounded.
I agree with him as a character. I don't think he needed the big characterization, why he wants this.
And again, I don't think he needed to be a person. I don't think he had to have a quirk that we can see and feel and understand. I think he's much, much more threatening as an idea. The League of Villains. The League of Villains is already threatening as a physical presence. Why does he?
Because he's the idea. He's the.
But why does he need to come down in season 2?
Well,
not the end of the show.
Because I think that people would see like, oh, he's the idea. When is he going to show up? I feel like we get his fight out of the way, and then his ideology.
But now, what do we have to look forward to?
Yeah, people like Shigaraki, the Handsy Hands.
But he hasn't got the character development he deserves, because we spent so much time on All for One.
Shigaraki? I think he does.
I think he has hints at character development. I don't think he has any actual character development.
Well, you find out that Shigaraki is the grandson of the person that gave their power to All Might.
Yeah, that's not character development. That's an origin story.
No, he also wants to be a bad guy.
Yes, that is character development. That's the only thing we've seen.
He also has an intense loyalty to All for One, which
who's now dead, who's now pretty much out of the picture.
Well, he did though, which is making him a cool character.
Right. So now what Shigaraki is supposed to do?
He'd do bad. I don't know. Season 4 hasn't come out yet.
No, it hasn't yet. But I'm just saying, Shigaraki now feels like a kind of that thing where you untie one of your sweatpants strings and it's all frayed at the edges. What is he supposed to do now?
I give it to him. They'll have to do something with him.
He's completely lost. Like, we built, even in the fucking theme song for a while there, we were building up that Shigaraki had this overlord of All for One, this, oh, his dad is dead and now he needs somebody else to look forward to. No! Now All for One is out of the picture, unless All for One is gonna break out of jail Magneto style via X-Men 3, which we all know how fucking that ended. What is Shigaraki supposed to do? What is his purpose? Why is he here? The only purpose he is here is because All Might some conflict, which All Might had plenty of character development already.
Here's as much as I'm gonna budge on you here. Yes, what we got for characterization is probably all the characterization we're gonna get. I understand that you want it to be more. I like what we got. I also want more, but I'm satisfied with the meal that I had. I understand you don't like characters who are only valuable in their relationship to one another, and I understand that he falls in that problem. I get it.
What is Shigaraki supposed to do now? what reason do I have to look forward to season 4 besides Deku achieving his dream?
Other things, not just the villains. I understand that he doesn't serve a character purpose.
Then why do we keep calling back to the League of Villains as a problem?
Because it's the League of Villains. It's not just the Shigaraki of villains.
Then what's the point of being the head?
I don't think he's the head.
Then who is?
Nobody. It was one for all. It's a whole deal. We'll get into it later.
I think you're wrong. I think Shigaraki was always meant to be the head, and now All for One's in jail, and they're kind of floundering about.
Other people we got to talk about. Not a ton of them. What the fuck is up with Toga?
Is this flamey zombie
no,
face?
This is. I want to fuck everything. Here, let me take your blood
God.
so I can become you. She is just this Harley Quinn archetype.
She literally humps everything she comes on screen with.
It's like this hemophilia, and I understand she turns into things she can take the blood of.
Which is really, really cool. Her quirk is really cool. We see it once.
Why does she want to, come on everything? Because every frame she's in, not to steal a Jello Apocalypse joke, every frame she's in, she wants to, climax on whatever she's talking to.
Yep. And even when she's taking over other people, she wants to climax all over Deku or all over anything she's fucking talking to. Even, the people who are she's pretending to be one of their classmates, even those people she wants to jump on and fuck.
Yeah. It's a whole thing.
I understand you want to add, kind of this adult edginess to a character. It doesn't work with her.
No, it doesn't.
And again, with the peaks and valleys of My Hero Academia, that is where the series fails. But we'll talk about that towards the end.
Really quick, the Nomu are fucking hardcore. I thought Nomu was a guy's name when I saw this fan art, but I'm a fucking gigantic fan of exposed brains, apparently.
Brainy birdie, man.
He's just so hardcore. It's just this literal Frankenstein's monster of quirks, where these people were fused to the point where they can't think for themselves.
Yep, they're like baby all for ones.
That's hardcore. That's all I have to say. Let's continue. Stain. So Stain is, they did not expect Stain to be that popular.
Here's my issue with Stain. He is not really given a ton of time, and yet we are constantly led to believe that he is the primary motivation behind many, many, many characters in the series. I don't buy it.
I think that he's the reason that a lot of those villains come out of the woodwork to help.
Yes.
Yeah, he serves his purpose. Bloodletting
girl wants to fuck him because she wants to fuck everything. Lizard guy and Flame German zombie face. They're all following Stain's message.
This
and
entire
to me,
go ahead.
I didn't feel like Stain's message was very appealing. It wasn't very, very drawing because again, he wasn't given enough time.
I think he served his purpose and he's out.
Right, but his message wasn't given enough time for the impact it's having on other characters.
I disagree because we had 4 episodes to talk about Iida and Justice and his ideals compared to Shigaraki's.
Okay, I'm not talking about Iida though. I'm not talking about Stain. I'm talking about Stain right now.
Okay.
So Stain's motivation is that he dislikes that heroes are being paid for money.
That's right.
Because he thinks they should be heroes outright. He thinks they should be heroes regardless. He thinks they should be villains. What does Stain believe?
He thinks he's upset that heroes should be absolutely self-sacrificing.
Right. And people accept that without ever knowing Stain, without ever meeting Stain, without ever hearing Stain's message from his own mouth. They know that after seeing Stain die on a street corner by the guy who inherited All Might's power.
Well, he was on TV, though.
Right. But he was on TV for one scene and then he died.
I think people see it and they're like, oh, that's how we want to get involved.
He delivers his message once without any background motivation, without any character development as to why he thinks that way.
Well, at that point, it should just be... How much backstory is enough for you?
I don't know. I want more, and this is the kind of delving between you and I, is that I am more of a lore hound than you are. I want a backstory of this world. How do we get this world where we constantly accept heroes, and where do we draw the line between heroes and villains?
That deserves its own movie, Dark Knight style, and the people that wanted that movie, and they didn't expect Stain to be a 2-episode, 3-episode villain tops, they may leave dissatisfied like my wife has, and I will not blame them. He's a very deep character. He does not get the depth that a lot of people want out of him.
And he doesn't get the depth that a lot of the later villains in the series give him. I feel like he builds up way too loyal a fan base for this small amount of time he's given.
Yeah, they made him too cool.
He made him too cool, and you made him have too much of an impact for his pure screen time.
Okay. Well, I think that me as a person who wants to screenwrite, I can see his thing and go, that would make a cool movie. And just the idea that it would make a cool movie is enough to satiate me. You guys wanted more, and I do not doubt you for that.
Yeah, he would have made a better OVA.
A Stain OVA would sell gangbusters.
Or he would have made a better all-for-one villain, which again, and again, one of my main problems with the series, we'll get into peaks and valleys later, but this series is absolutely terrified of killing anyone off, be that heroes or villains. All Might never completely goes away. Stain never completely goes away. His idea lives on. All for One can't even die. He has to be there sitting in jail. Nobody can ever die. Nobody's dreams and ambitions can ever fully fade away. They have to constantly exist in this godforsaken, crowded realm of 80 plus characters that gets loaded and junky, and not everybody gets enough time. You're doing a disservice to the main characters that you should be focusing on.
It's okay for the series to have a Ted character, and I don't mean How I Met Your Mother. I mean the character from season 1 of Heroes who is radioactive. He's less a character, more of like, this person's gonna explode in season 1 unless you fix it. And then when he's not important anymore, toss him. I wish that the show would do that more. We just watched 3 seasons in a movie, 0 deaths.
0 deaths. Absolutely 0 deaths. You get really poignant emotional moments. You get really poignant emotional scenes between heroes and villains. Never are we given a very, very clear difference as to what the difference is between the two. There's never that distinction drawn. There's never that line drawn. All Might, Deku, Todoroki, Eraserhead, nobody draws that line. And that, to me, is one of the biggest failings of the series. This is one of those series, like Attack on Titan, everybody's trying to convince me it's a 12. I'm convinced it's like a 7. It's very good. It has problems, and those problems are serious.
All right, real quick, we're going to go over some of the teachers that I think are cool or have interesting things to say about, because we're at an hour and a half right now.
I would jump on Eraserhead's dick.
Aizawa apparently is kind of sexy.
Yes.
I feel like every superhero anything has to have the one character whose superpower is I cancel other superpowers. That's just a rule for me.
Yep, that's fair enough.
Aizawa's cool. I like that because he can erase powers, he's suitable to be a teacher.
Yes.
I like it's not his fault. I like his Kakashi vibes, like, oh, just let me read my book. Go in my little suitcase.
And he never rubs it in your face, but he's very much a Kakashi character. It's like, I will absolutely rock your shit and completely destroy your world, but I don't want to. I'd rather sit here in my sleeping bag.
I could kill you, but it's too much work.
And you never realize how much power exactly he has until he fights the Nomu.
I'm sorry, I skipped a character. Endeavor. We talked about Endeavor.
What about
Todoroki's
Endeavor?
dad. Here's the one thing I will say, because we already covered him with
He's
Todoroki.
Embor.
One thing I will say about him is that fans are very split, because in a scene that's in the manga but not the anime yet, Endeavor gets a redemption arc where he learns that he's got qualities that aren't being a shitty dad that rapes his wife.
Oh, I want to see that! Oh, please, save Endeavor! Hashtag save Endeavor!
Some people think that it's good enough. A lot of people are like, no, the shit he did is still too bad. We can't judge, but he does apparently get an arc we haven't seen.
I would love to see that. That's the end of my story.
Okay. Jesus Christ, best Jeanist. Okay, I kept watching these popularity polls, and this guy named Best Jeanist was still up there.
I hope his face is on screen right now.
Oh, he is. You know it. I thought he was a joke answer, like the American Idol website. Vote for the worst. No, he's cool. And here's one of the biggest side strengths. You're kicking your feet. Here's one of the biggest side strengths of the show. The show makes me think characters are cool that based on a screenshot I should not think are cool. All right, this motherfucker, he's got a belt holding up his jeans, but it's around his face. He's constantly saying shit like, I want you to tie up I want you to tie up villainy with a sturdy pair of Levi jeans. Go ahead.
That's not what he says.
You know he says some shit like that.
My favorite thing about Best Jeanist was he hands Bakugo his own dick and says, "Fuck you. Get your shit together. Be a hero. Stop being angry all the time. You need to learn self-control, you useless prick."
They wanted me to teach you specifically because you're like a fiery cardigan, and I'm going to teach you to be cool like a winter scarf.
I feel about Best Jeanist how you felt about Starfire. Like, he's fashionable and he's a snappy dresser, and he will also fuck your shit up.
Okay. I'm done talking about that.
We're done with Best Jeanist. That was fun.
Gran Torino's an old man.
He's funny.
I like him. He taught All Might. He's cool.
He's honestly, real talk, he's Deku's redeeming arc.
Yeah, that's really good.
It's the only reason Deku matters.
It's where you start realizing that Deku's not a shit. But that's Gran Torino.
That's Gran Torino. All done.
I'll skip those two. Yamada. Oh, Present Mike. Okay.
What about Present Mike?
He yells and
he's the antithesis to Eraserhead. That's all you need.
My wife Haley, her quirk, knowing a lot of history stuff.
Oh yeah, he introduces everybody's quirk. That's fun. And he's also Mike Kirby.
She can know a lot about how to put things in a museum together, but her super weakness is that
You're hurting my ears.
She has to go to sleep sometimes.
You're hurting my ears. I'm
so
stuffy
fun.
right now.
I'm sorry, so fun.
Editor Johnny, throw up a picture of Mike Kirby. There's the best Mike.
Okay, two characters left are Midnight and Mount Lady. There's one scene that I won't defend. It's a cold open where they're talking about whether it's important for ladies to have exposed skin when they're fighting, and it's played like a joke.
I really like that, honestly, though. Again, not to show my feminist boner here, but that is a real thing for women, that when you play RPGs and stuff like that, you're often given costume choices that are, let's say, revealing.
Yeah.
Midnight kind of shoves that in your face. It was like, oh yes, if you give me revealing clothing, I am fucking unstoppable. Her quirk is literally, I expel
sleep
powder, like a butterfree.
Yeah.
And
she also whips and shit.
Right, yeah, but she expels it out of her skin, and she's also a dominatrix, and it's whatever. That literally never comes up except for in her in her dress choices. And that's kind of the antithesis with Mount Lady, who just sucks.
Mount Lady, I was impressed. I saw a lot of fan art, but I was impressed at how shallow she is.
She sucks.
I thought she was important. It turns out that she's just in it for the fame and the money, and I'm like, I buy that.
She's the anti-Uraraka, which I think is necessary.
I want money for bad reasons.
Yeah, I think it's necessary for this show. I'm glad she only gets the time she gets. And yeah, they handle Mount Lady very well. She comes up when she needs to, and then she's done. Same with Midnight.
Final thoughts? Anything miscellaneous?
I kind of gave my kind of sad speech about My Hero Aka earlier.
Well, we talked about Stained.
Yeah, when we talked about Stained, and that's where most of my problems with the series come up. I dragged my feet with this series. I was really, really afraid of what it could be. It turned out better than I expected. A lot of the fears I had were not unfounded. This series has major peaks and valleys. The peaks are very, very,
They're
very
fantastic.
good. Some of the best anime I've ever seen. The valleys are everything I was worried that this show could be.
And it's only for 1 or 2 episodes spats.
And yeah, and so when it's bad, it's one of those, when it's bad, it's really, really bad. The Todoroki and Wind Turbine episode.
Going back to Todoroki's growth episode, even though he's already been fully butterfree.
Yeah, going back to Todoroki's growth episode. The random episode where we get the backstory behind the Jeanist character, except we don't. The rare touches on All Might's past that don't go anywhere because we can't reveal that yet. We got so much more series to go. This series, when it succeeds very well. I feel like it's constantly shooting itself not in the foot, it's constantly shooting itself in the face. And it really, really shows.
You got to ignore some backtracking, but it's a cool show. if this is a pass or fail, I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. I mean, it was a good show. I had a good time. It is not flawless by any means. In fact, I would honestly recommend Attack on Titan over this.
I would not, but I can see definitely where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But that's been 3 seasons of My Hero Academia. We wrapped it up in I don't know how long.
I don't know. Editor Johnny can cut out the uninteresting
About
parts.
an hour and a half minus breaks.
And again, I'm glad I did it. I had a good time. It has issues. Please be a good critic, audience, and recognize those issues for what they are.
Give it a fair shake, but it's a cool series. It's a sexy series.
Yeah, it's very, very head nodding towards all kinds of fan service and all genders.
Apparently, everybody's got to fuck Todoroki.
That's not true. You don't want to fuck Todoroki.
I got my Gravity Bay.
You got Gravity Bay, and you have Gravity Bay, and I had Todoroki and Kirishima, and that's all I need.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.